How did we start this process? Waiwhene Regional Council in December 2015 called together a group of farmers in the community to discuss water quality and the general state of the catchment. It was to do with their Plan Change 9, and we spent 4 years going through that exercise until Plan Change 9 was no longer required or needed to be reassessed. And after that education process, farmers had a discussion, or the community had a discussion, and considered how they should move forward and whether we should try and get some stuff done or have another series of meetings. And a group of people from those discussions met and decided to form a catchment group. And the reason I was comfortable about joining it was the skill sets we had around the table in that first committee meeting gave me comfort that we could actually get some stuff done. We had technical, financial, governance, and iwi all that could contribute to find solutions and outcomes. We weren't aware of the roadblocks and the difficulties we were going to have, but everyone was committed to actually get stuff done.
This is the Waihi Estuary. Unfortunately, it's one of the 5 most degraded estuaries in New Zealand. Waikokapu is a community-led project funded by the Ministry for Primary Industries, Bay Trust and the Waiwhene Regional Council to restore and revitalise the health of the Waihi Estuary. We're bringing together landowners, tangata whenua, councils, scientists and the community, all working together to restore water quality and biodiversity, to bring back the once plentiful fish, bird and shellfish life.
So our project's about working with farmers right from the mountains to the sea in this catchment. They've all got slightly different ways that they can lighten their footprint with their farming systems. We've got 15 lighthouse farmers, and these farmers will basically understand what their farm system's doing, understand how to treat a whole lot lighter without making any less money, still be really profitable, resilient to climate changes and improve water quality at the same time. So the goal is that we help them work through a journey of win-win opportunities while treading lighter on the land. And there are win-wins everywhere. If we plant and fence off streams or highly vulnerable land, we can not only get carbon benefits but also get waterway protection.
bought our initial block, 67 hectares, then we bought the neighbouring block of 120 hectares or something like that. And we've got 3 farms joined together. And the tiger country was purchased in the middle block. And we had to farm off it back in the day to make our budgets work. The first year that we went farming, we were supposed to do 100,000 of solids, we only did 75. So straight away we were under the pump and had to farm all that steep country at the back. So when we first went farming, we were system 1, all grass, so we had to be really good at grass management. Then as we farmed, take stock and think, is this how we want to farm? And it really wasn't. We wanted to pressure off the cows, off the land and off ourselves pretty much. So, but the ETS coming in, there was money to be made, or potentially money to be made off that steep land without running cows. We gave up trying to fertilise those steep sidelands quite a few years ago because we just couldn't get the fertility on that land anyway. And then in recent years, we went again and thought, right, our stocking rate has gone down to 2 cows per hectare. Pressure's off. We're all grass once again, done the full circle. No cows on that steep land. It's all been planted out in redwoods, natives or pines. And it's a really pleasant way to be farming, both, from a personal point of view and environmentally. We feel like we're more...
It's more a lifestyle than a job now.
We've planted out about 5 hectares, which is about 10% of the area up there at the runoff, with wetland areas on the stream here. The stream was the head of a stream that heads down towards the Waihi estuary, and we also come with the hillsides up here. The reason we did it is we also got a farm down on the low land, and we see what's coming down, and we thought we'd try and do our bit to try and slow down sediments and things like that. Plus, these areas were reasonably low production areas anyway. The hillsides probably spent more time spraying weeds than grazing, so we thought, not getting any younger, so hopefully if we plant it up later, that we'll be able to just look at it and not have to do the weed tile.
So that would probably go right along there, down there to there, I would think.
Hi, I'm Mark Drabble. I work in the general area here, live and work, and in these high value sites that Waikakupu are trying to get well established into natives. So this site we're on here now is on the Hickson property, and is an ex-forestry site. so from approximately 3 years ago. And those ex-forestry sites are always more of a weed problem. So this is where your preparation is much more important. So we have the harder weeds like blackberry and gorse coming through, which they always do with forestry sites, and also regeneration. What species were here beforehand are an issue, and we're finding that here with Lusitanica seedlings coming up really thickly, so they've got to be dealt with. In addition to those bad weeds that I've already mentioned, there's a number of weeds have come into this property where one of the worst ones is Madeira vine, which has arrived here by people throwing rubbish off Old Coach Road. And I've seen exactly where it started and how it spread through this, the 2 hectares at Paul's Block. That is a very bad vine, relatively new to the area, and it's a real smotherer and a spreader, and it's quite bad news on small native plants. With pests and all these blocks, it's something that's not really thought about too much, but within the catchment we've got the usual problem pests like rabbits, hares and possums, and they'll do more damage than what most people realise, and it's not given a lot of thought when it probably should be. And most blocks should be assessed beforehand. There may be no problem and then it can be left. But as you work back up the catchment, you'll find you'll get bigger pests like deer and particularly wallabies, and we're finding a lot of wallabies in that upper catchment, and they're getting closer. They're working their way down the catchment slowly but surely, and they will do quite a bit of damage to your plants.
Property borders the railway, and previously this was just overgrown with barberry, so barberry up this high growing in amongst the fence there, so we went along and sprayed that, and then later on came through, cut it down. These are some of the stumps here, and then burnt that, and then got on top of all the weeds in here. There's pampas, woolly nightshade and Japanese honeysuckle as well. And once we're happy with that, we came along and planted some manuka and kanuka in amongst, and hopefully that will just create some shade and shade out any weeds that pop up. But it's a bit of an issue because like across the way there's some woolly nightshade and some honeysuckle and pampas growing there, so it's just going to be an ongoing issue, but I'm still just got to do it and tidy it up. It was important for us because we've got an organic kiwifruit orchard, so we didn't want too much sprays going on the orchard from KiwiRail coming along and doing weed control.
One of the projects we worked on was fish passageways. So I think for a lot of farmers, including myself, talking about NNP loss is sort of something that's quite intangible. But when you start connecting farmers to the fish and invertebrates in their waterways, it makes a huge difference the way they view the health of their waterways. It sort of touches your nāko, your heart. And the thing I didn't understand was that all these whiteback we catch are actually a 5 galaxid species. And some of them have got little claspers on their fins, and they can climb all the way up to the top of your waterway. Some of them have been found at something like 1,500 metres above sea level. The 2 species that do that is the banded kōkapu and the koaro. So they got the claspers, and the other species tend to live around the bottom of the catchment or mid-catchment. So the idea was to identify any impediments to fish passageways which would allow those little guys to get to the top of the catchment. We investigated something like 300 potential impediments, found that there was about 100, and all but one we've remediated them.
Here at Waikōkapu, we've been on a mission to restore the natural beauty and health of our catchment. Over the past few years, we've planted over 200,000 native trees, working with farmers, iwi and local communities to protect and regenerate our land. Using our innovative Tamata method, we've made native planting more available and accessible, reducing costs by up to 50% and allowing more land to be restored for less. A highlight of our restoration work has been the involvement of the AWOL students from Pongakawa School. These amazing young people have joined us to plant on some of our Lighthouse Farmers properties, helping to bring life back to the land. It has been incredible to share our knowledge of restoration with the next generation, teaching them about the importance of protecting our ecosystems while also giving them hands-on experience in planting and caring for native trees. Their enthusiasm and curiosity has been truly inspiring. Our Tīmata method has been a key part of this success. By planting pioneer species like Manuka and Kanuka first, we create a natural canopy that shelters the slower growing trees like Totara and Rimu. This approach stabilises the soil, enhances biodiversity, and reduces the planting costs by up to 50%. It's a practical and effective way to achieve large-scale restoration, helping farmers and landowners transform their properties sustainably. The real game changer is how much we've been able to reduce costs in planting. Traditional planting methods can cost up to $5 per seedling, making large-scale restoration expensive and often out of reach for many landowners. With the Tīmata method, we've cut costs by about 50%, bringing the price per seedling down to $2.50 or less. This allows us to stretch funding further, restoring double the area for the same cost and making native planting more accessible to everyone.
Wow, so what are we seeing in here, Tom?
Yeah, so down this end of the stream, after all this rain, there's a whole lot more sediment and runoff that's built up in this water.
Yeah, and this is coming off the marginal hillside country or kiwifruit orchards?
Yeah, yep. So as the rain comes down, I guess we don't really have those buffer zones anymore between the stream and our land uses. So all the sediment and these light volcanic soils is just running straight off and into the stream.
Right. And so it goes into the estuary, and then what kind of impacts is it having on the ecology and people's health?
Yeah, so a few things. I guess the sediment itself can start to smother our shellfish beds, which are filter feeders and actually filter the water as well. And E. coli also builds up, and pathogens build up in the shellfish as they absorb it. So when there's a big load of things like E. coli in an event like this, it becomes inedible for humans.
Toxic.
Yeah, those pathogens build up in the shellfish flesh, which means we can't consume them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So what changes need to be made, just basic changes, or what changes are going on at the moment to help improve the estuary and this Kaikokupu, the stream?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of landowners getting on board with riparian planting, and it really comes down to, I guess, a multi-prong approach, but also every landowner doing their part and identifying critical source areas on their land, thinking, can I retire this into a wetland, or does this really marginal, steep, erosion-prone land, do I need to be farming that?
Is it worth it? Yeah.
Yeah, and if everybody's doing that, then we'll certainly have some change down the bottom here.
This is really my brother Andre's vision, because what he realised, we've got whelands here with nitrogen and other things coming across the road. And also he got the results from Regional Council about E. coli in the Peony stream down there, and I think it's the worst site in New Zealand, so he thought we should do something about it. So then he went to Regional Council. We got funding from Regional Council and the NIWA did all the design of it. We've got 70 hectares effective of dairying. We've also got kiwifruit and other land here, but on the dairying pattern. So this is 1.2 hectares of it, and they comment about the Bay Gold one and us, and they like the look of it. But I don't think many people really appreciate the work it does in terms of removing nutrients and doing that other thing. And it's not just doing it for the 1.2 hectares, it's doing it for the bigger catchment area. So it's doing community good. But it's lovely to have the setting.
We need more wetlands in our environment to keep the ecosystems how they are and to make them better. Just and wetlands keep our native birds alive.
So I reckon farmers, they need to get rid of, well, not rid of some of their cows, but if there's any swamps, they do. Bring in carts of natives down there and just some help. So what are we? So do the job.
Some advice for farmers, probably don't put your cows near the rivers. That's probably a good one. Yeah, wherever you've got like wet spots that you don't like plant out on terrain of grazing. Yeah, just plant them in wetlands. We needed to did it.
We planted the wetland because we'd recently harvested the forestry block. We got the regional council out to come and create an environmental program, and they suggested that we plant that and clear the weeds and put in some wetland as well. And we initially were just going to put this one in, but we ended up putting 2 in and planted all the drains. And while we were doing that, we planted some stands of West Tanaka, redwoods, blackwoods and poplars. And yeah, since doing that in 2015 or 2016, it's just changed the property and yeah, really brought in the wildlife and everything, and we can't imagine it without the trees on it.
Alison, we're going to keep going with this. I mean, we have kickstarted a pretty cool project in Waikopu, and I reckon we've got, say, we're at that tipping point where I think, you know, on the bell curve we've got to get about 16% and then things start to flow. But we've got these projects underway and we've got to keep them going. What do you think?
Absolutely. There's so much momentum already started, it'd be silly to walk away from it. So we've just got to work out how we can keep going. And we've got the enthusiasm of our leader and progressive farmers and keep getting shit done, y'all.
You're dead right. And I mean, you look at the farmers that have actually started work in terms of taking out their vulnerable pieces of land. I'd say some of them are looking at so I can do more, but the guys that have been looking, they're driving up the road, they're seeing some of those planting and so, gee, I should probably have a crack at that. So having that input around farm systems change and also land use change and keeping on going is really important. The other thing is that we've got to reduce nutrient loss, N and P loss by, was it 2/3 and 1/3 respectively? So there's a hell of a lot of work to be done in that area. Balance have indicated their support to help us. We've got Revive, we've got to develop best practice to actually see if we can achieve that goal, but still be viable in terms of our farming systems.
Absolutely. And that's what the Lighthouse farmers are so good at. They are early adopters, they're innovators, they work well with industry and all the relationships in the catchment. We've just got to keep weaving that together and keep the momentum going.
Exactly. Haere tonu. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thanks for being on our Waikokapu journey with us. It's been an exciting and busy 3 years, and you've just seen a glimpse of some of the things that we attempted to do with our farmers. Unfortunately, our funding's ended for now, so we'll work out a way to keep the lights on and look forward to hopefully continuing our journey with our fantastic farmers and remediating the catchment from the top to the bottom. A huge thank you to our farmers, our board and our team for making this impact possible.